Hi, Melissa Wick here. This yoga class will help cultivate some focus in our life, some strengthening, and some balance. So sometimes in the year, we can fall off of our routine or our self-care practice. There could be just a lot of energy going around, or we're going through something personal on our journeys and we're feeling a little overwhelmed. So especially during the holidays or maybe exam time, this practice is designed for us to help bring everything in, come back to our center. We'll set an intention. We'll be moving through a moving meditation, connecting with our breath, doing some balance work, which will help us just zone right in on our focus. So as always, we take the class at our own pace, rest when you need, get into something comfortable where you can move in, and let's get started. Let's begin seated. I like to use a blanket to prop my tush up, just so I find a little more ease when I'm sitting, because I want to feel comfortable and yet be able to still have a tall spine. So you can cross your legs, you can have one foot close to the groin, one heel just in front, or you can even just come to kneel if you prefer to kneel instead. I love to practice with blocks, that way I know I can have and hold that integrity over the depth. It's just an extension of the hands. So if you don't have blocks, I would suggest investing in a pair, or you can just use books as well, like a thicker book. So let's begin seated. Maybe wiggle around a bit. Find the connection with your sit bones to the ground, the mat, or your prop, and then take your shoulders up, back, and down. Your palms could just rest on your lap. And then we'll close the eyes or just bring your gaze down towards the tip of the nose so we can start to move away from the outside world and start to tap into the inside world. Find a tall spine and a long line from the root all the way through to the crown of your head. And we'll take 3 collective breaths to arrive together. So breathe in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. 2 more like that. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale. Gently close the lips. Just breathe naturally here. And give yourself permission to drop inside. I know there are times when, especially during the holidays or maybe exams, or if you're going through something in your life, in your journey, we can fall out of our routine or our self-care practice. And so I invite you here to bring all of your presence, all of your energy here to this moment, receiving this gift of this moment. Finding your center and enjoying your breaths here with yourself. Exploring the space of stillness. And take a moment to notice how you feel without any judging or changing anything. Just become the observer. And watching your thoughts pass by you without attaching to them. And also notice here if the breath travels freely throughout the body. Notice the texture of your breath. Inviting in a peaceful infusion of your breath to your body, into your mind, into your heart. And maybe here you can start to explore the 4 parts of your breath. So there's the in-breath, the pause at the top, then there's the exhale, and the pause at the bottom. So we inhale, gentle pause, exhale, gentle pause, inhale, pause, exhale, pause, inhale, pause, exhale, pause, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Do 2 more like that at your own pace. And maybe here you'd like to set an intention for your practice. It doesn't need to be grand, just allow it to be sincere. Maybe it is to stay present with your breath and to honor your body and honor where you're at in your practice today, because every day is different. So you're welcome here to keep your eyes closed, and we'll start to invite some neck release, some neck rolls. So moving all the way in a circle in one direction if it's comfortable for your neck. Otherwise, you can just make the U shapes from side to side. Reverse your direction if you're going in a circle. Nice. Come to stillness. Take your left hand down to the mat. Inhale, reach your right arm up and over, palm face down. Reach through the fingertips. Try not to collapse forward, but rather keep your chest open, ground down through the right sit bone. Inhale your way up. Exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches up and over through the fingertips. Now grounding through the left sit bone. Smile through the collarbones. Inhale your way back up to center. We're going to come onto all fours, tabletop. So remove your prop out of the way if you had a blanket or a cushion. We're going to spread our fingers nice and wide. Wrists underneath shoulders, hands shoulder width distance apart, knees hip width distance apart, and knees in line with your hips. Cat-cow. So we inhale, we lift the gaze, tilt the pelvis. We exhale, we round and curl. Look towards your belly button. Inhale, come forward. I know we've maybe done tons of these here. Exhale, round. But see if you can keep your awareness close to your breath. Inhale, forward. See if you can visualize your breath traveling along the spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift, front extension, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale, tabletop, keep your hips where they are. Walk your hands forward for this puppy heart melting stretch. So forehead and heart towards the mat. Inhale your way back up to a tabletop. From here, we're going to draw our knees, our ankles, and our shins together. Tuck your toes underneath, and then sit your sit bones onto your heels. You can take your hands on your lap here. For this, feels different for everyone. Coming into this toe stretch. See if you can roll your shoulders onto your back. You can close your eyes here. Connect to your breath. You can stay with your hands on your lap, or maybe you'd like to interlace the hands behind you for a bit of a heart opener here. As you squeeze the shoulder blades together, maybe you lift the palms. And then release the hands with care. And then slowly walk your hands forward. From here, bring your feet back to hip width distance apart. And then find yourself in this first down dog of the practice. So here we can start to pedal through the legs. Gently open up through the hamstrings. Weight is even throughout the palms, especially the thumb and pointer finger. Glide the shoulder blades down the back. Keep the chest nice and open and keep it broad in the upper back and the shoulders. Bend your knees a lot here and push through your palms and reach your sit bones up and back. Find length in the spine. Try not to crank your neck. Relax the neck. I like to imagine here your pubic bone reaching through the sit bones. So that'll start to feel more of this length through the spine as you imagine that. And then from here you can start to lengthen the legs. No worries if your heels don't touch. From here, come onto the balls of your feet. Drop your heels over to the right. And then still keep this downward dog motion. Keep pushing through the palms for the side stretch. Inhale through center, exhale, heels to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. And then inhale, make your way forward to a high plank. You're welcome to exhale your way down onto your knees or stay through powered up legs and let everything come down to touch at one point. Point your toes. From here, we're going to come into a baby cobra. So elbows hug in, shoulders glide down the back, push the tops of the feet down into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Make sure your pinky toes stay grounded. Inhale, lift, cobra. Use the back body. So notice if you're really using your weight into your hands, see if you can let your hands hover here. Pubic bone draws down. Exhale, lower. Maybe here we reach for more length. Inhale. Elbows are hugging in. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes underneath. Use your inhale to push through table or plank. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale your right leg high for three-legged dog, toes face down. Notice the inner line of your legs here. And then start to stack open that right hip. You can bend that top leg. Try to keep the shoulders level with the top of your mat. Maybe you peek underneath your right underarm. And then exhale, down dog. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg. Keep the hips level to start. And then release, open up the hip. Bend that top leg. Maybe you peek underneath your left underarm. And then exhale, come back to down dog. We're going to bend the knees, look between the hands, and then walk or step to the top of your mat, feet hip width distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Now pause here. Use the traction of your fingertips on your shins and glide the shoulders down the back. Reach through the crown of your head, at the same time reaching through your tailbone. So we want to be able to balance a teacup perhaps on our back. Stay connected and close to your breath. Notice if your weight's way in your heels. See if you can trust to lean forward a bit. And then exhale, lower here, ragdoll. Grab opposite elbows. Bend your knees lots. Maybe your chest rests on your thighs. Release your head, no, yes, and then no. Maybe you sway here, releasing the spine. Find stillness. And then inhale back to that halfway lift. Fingertips on shins, slight bend in the knees. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms lift. Exhale, hands come through to heart center and come into Tadasana. I'm just gonna face you. So see here, we're gonna start from the ground up. Palms Spread nice and wide, palms face forward. See if you can lift your toes and then let your toes go down. So you're grounded and connected to the mat, all four corners of your feet. And then see if you can hug your muscles to your bones. So you feel your kneecaps lift. And then your tailbone is drawing slightly forward. So rather than like this, scoop it forward, have a tight, slight tone in your belly. Lift your shoulders up, back, and down. And then try to see here if your head's right in line with your spine. So we're not leaning our chin forward. So everything, there's awareness to everything here. We're never just hanging out in any pose. So connect here to your breath. And feel the power of your legs supporting you underneath. And maybe here you connect back to your intention. So we're going to move nice and slow here, syncing our breath with movement and coming into this moving meditation. You'll get the hang of it after the first couple. So we're going to breathe in, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. As you do that, interlace the hands, bend the knees. Continue your exhalation, come all the way down. Release the head, and then inhale, lift arms, lift up, lengthen the legs. Exhale, hands come through center, and then interlace, bend the knees, exhale all the way out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend the knees, prayer, cross the fingers, release. Inhale all the way up. You can close your eyes now once you get the hang of it. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up here. Exhale, release. See if you can feel yourself pushing the energy down, and then inhale, gather the energy from down all the way up. Exhale, release, let out all the air. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, let it go, and we'll do one more. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, push it through, let out all the stale air. Inhale, gather it up, rise. And exhale your hands to heart center. And just take a moment to pause here, finding your center, finding your presence. And inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, swan dive, or come through center as you fold over the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to shins. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to a high plank. On your exhale, you're going to shift slightly forward. You can come to the knees here, keep the elbows hugged in, push through the palms as you lower, point your toes. Inhale, push gently into your palms, cobra. You're welcome to take up dog as well. And then exhale your way back through table or plank to down dog. Connect back to your breath here. Remember to pause whenever you need to. From here, we're going to step our right foot through between the hands. Gently place your left knee down and start to find length here. So glide the shoulders down the back, start to reach your heart forward. Maybe you lift your chest off your thigh, right heel in line with the right knee. And then find that scissoring action in your hips. Right heel draws back, left knee forward. From here, we're going to exhale our way back. If you have blocks, here's a good opportunity to use them for half split. If you don't have them, just try to bring your hands down to the mat on your fingertips. We draw our right toes towards our face. Same thing, shoulders down. Always reach with the heart, spine long. You want to feel this dragging action in your right heel. And then exhale, move through that front foot, bend your right knee. Take your right hand to the inside of the right leg, so your right shoulder is hugging into the inside of your right. And just pivot your left foot inwards So now your left shin is parallel to the top of your mat. And you're going to start to open up your left arm towards the ceiling. You can use a block here for your right hand if you need that lift. And then you can use this traction of your leg pushing into your arm and your arm pushing into your leg and open up your wings. Maybe you look towards the sky or the ceiling. Notice if you're winging your hips way out in space. Try to keep everything hugging in the midline. And then exhale, release. Take your hands back on either side and then just pivot your knee back. From here, we're going to tuck our left toes underneath and start to lengthen out through both legs for a modified pyramid. Great opportunity for a block as well. So your left foot's going to stay on the ball of the foot, all 10 toes facing forward. Right hip is drawing back in space, ground down through that right big toe. Find that length and lift in the spine. And then exhale, bend through that right knee. We're going to shift our weight forward. Take your blocks with you. We're going to come into a supported warrior 3. So keep the length in your spine. You can bring your hands down to the ground as well. Left toes are facing down. Your left hip's going to want to hike up. Try to square it off. If that means lowering your leg, perfect. Ground and root down through that right foot. And then here we're going to bend through that right knee. Take a nice big step back with your left leg to lunge with the left leg powered up. When you feel stable here, you're going to inhale, lift the arms all the way up for a high lunge. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, cactus the arms, start to kiss that left knee towards the mat. Open up. And then power it back up. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Plant your palms down. Step back to a high plank. Shift your weight slightly forward. Bend at the elbows. Lower. You can come to your knees halfway or to your belly, up dog or cobra. Exhale, belly button draws to the back of the spine as you guide your way to down dog. Connect to your breath. Now other side, left foot steps between the hands, right foot gently places down. Keep your hands down on the mat. And then find that length. Shoulders glide down, maybe your heart lifts off the thigh, head in line with the spine. Left heel back, right knee forward. Weight evenly in that left foot. Exhale back, half split. Shift your waist back, draw your left toes towards your face. Blocks are great here as well. And then exhale, roll through that front foot, bend the left knee, and then we'll take our left hand to the inside of the left leg. So hug your left inner leg to the left shoulder, pivot your right foot so your right shin's parallel to the top of the mat. Inhale, start to open that right arm up, open your wing. Push your leg into your arm into your leg. That's going to draw your hips right to the center. So we're supporting here as we're opening. Exhale your way back down, hands on either side of the left leg. Pivot your right knee back, tuck your right toes under. Power up the legs here for modified pyramid. Blocks are great. Ground down through the left big toe. Left hip is drawing back in space. Long spine. And then here we're going to exhale, bend through that left knee. We're going to shift our weight forward to that supported warrior three. Right toes are flexed. Right hip is down and even with the left. Ground down through the left foot. Tall spine. You always have the option to play with balance here. Maybe taking your hands and wrapping it around your left shin. And then here we're going to bend through that left knee. Take a nice graceful step back. Keep that for a lunge, for a back leg powered up. When you feel sturdy, inhale, lift the arms, high lunge. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, cactus the arms, kiss that right knee to the mat. Open up the chest. And extend, high lunge. Breathe in. Exhale, hands come down, plant your palms. Step your left foot back, high plank. Shift your weight slightly forward. As you exhale, bend at the elbows. Come down either halfway or to your belly like we were doing. Cobra or up dog. Heart reaches forward and up. The heels of your hands draw back as you reach. And then belly button draws in. Exhale your way to downward dog. From here, we're going to come onto our knees, moving into Virasana. So you can use a block here or a cushion if you have. You don't have to use the block. We're going to take the block on the widest setting and then just place it in between your ankles, pointing your toes. You can also stack two blocks here if you'd like. Sit bones down. So your heels are just slightly on the outside of your hips. This might be enough for you. It's a nice stretch in the knees. If you're feeling any pain, ease off. And from here, we want to make sure that our knees are drawing down to the mat. Maybe here, if you're feeling good, you can start to bring your hands back behind you. If you find that your knees start to lift up like this, you've gone too far. Keep your knees drawing down. Go down as far as you feel comfortable. Discomfort is okay. We can breathe into that to soften. Pain is not okay. Now, to protect your neck, you can keep your chin tucked in. You can close your eyes here. You can go all the way down to your back if that feels good. You can remove the block. We want to keep the arch in the low back. So if you're down here, you're also feeling a nice heart opener. Take about 3 more cycles of breath. If you're all the way on your back, moving with so much care and control, tuck your chin in. Wherever you are, we'll bring ourselves forward. And from here, I like to tuck my toes under, come back to table, and just extend the right leg back and just kind of rock through it here to bring the circulation back into the knees. And then other side, left leg back, start to rock, up, down, side, side, whatever feels good to you. And then let's come back to downward dog. Tuck your toes under, push through the palms. From here, we're gonna come onto the balls of the feet, bend your knees, empty out the breath, and then come to the top of your mat. And then just heel toe your feet together. We're gonna take a big breath in and come into chair pose, Utkatasana. So start to sit your sit bones back, arms lift. So we wanna still be able to see our toes. If you have any issues with your shoulders, you can bring your palms to face down, arms in line with your shoulders. Otherwise, thumbs back, pinkies forward. Hug your shin bones back in space, squeeze the glutes. Tailbone draws forward, belly button draws in. Take your hands into heart center. Find something to focus on just on the floor in front of you. Bring your weight into your right foot. Start to let your left foot hover. You're going to take a nice big step back with your left leg for a lunge. From here, you're going to spiral your left heel down. Left toes are going to fan out. And then spread open your arms to warrior two. Left edge of the foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Right knee is bent. See if you can see your right big toe. If you can't, that means your knee is collapsing in. You want to turn on that right glute, open it up to protect the knee. From here, keep the legs the same, reverse your warrior. So your right palm's gonna flip up, left hand to the left thigh or wrap it around the low back. Shoulders away as always. Side stretch. And then take yourself back to warrior two to extended side angle. Right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Or you can flip your palm down, reach your left fingertips towards the top of the mat. So you find this beautiful long line from the outer edge of the left foot through to your left fingertips. And then inhale your way back to warrior two. Take your hands to your hips, lengthen your right leg, and then draw your right toes to face the left side of your mat. Toes in, heels slightly out. We're gonna find length, breathe in. We're gonna exhale, draw your hips back in space and start to fold over the hips. Slight bend in the knees, just so we don't lock our knees out. Release your hands down to the ground or onto blocks. So from here, you can stay with your hands in line with your shoulders and relax your head. Option to bring your palms through, flip the palms downwards. Or you can interlace your hands behind your back, start to open up through the chest, releasing the head. Wherever you are, try to imagine as if you're gently ripping your mat apart with your feet. So we want to keep the legs active, just so we're not overstretching here, and our hamstrings are vulnerable, so we don't want to overdo it. So we want to keep the tops of the thighs pressing back and keep the kneecaps lifted. If your hands are interlaced, slowly and gently release them down. Everyone bring your hands in line with your shoulders. Tent up onto your fingertips. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that length. Exhale, fold. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to use the power of the legs and we're going to come up with a flat back. Inhale, reach all the way back up. And then exhale, back to warrior two. Right toes come forward, bend that right knee. We're going to bring our left arm down and up forward at the top of the mat as we spiral onto the left ball of the foot. 10 toes come forward, high lunge. Take your hands to your hips. We're going to step our left foot beside the right. We're going to move into some balance here. We're going to keep our left foot planted. We're going to lift and bend that right knee. Right foot is flexed. So you have that 90-degree angle with your right knee. Notice here if your right hip wants to wing up, draw that right hip down in line with the left. Tone in your belly. Notice if you're leaning way back, try to keep the torso in line with the hips. I feel my core engaged here. We're going to add a notch. So your right hand's going to press down into your right thigh and your right thigh is going to lift into your right hand. Everything is on. Stay with your breath. Ground down through the left foot and get tall through the crown of your head. Then gently take your right hand to the inside of the right thigh and start to draw that right knee out to the right. Only go as far as so you can keep your right hip facing forward, so we're not winging it out to the right. So we're preparing ourselves here for tree pose, Vrikshasana. So here, you can point your right foot. You can guide your right foot to the inside of the left inner thigh above the knee. Maybe you bring it below the knee, just not on the knee. Or maybe you just let your toes touch the ground and let your heel come to your ankle. So your hips are staying level wherever you are. You can bring your palms into heart center. You have the option always, if you want to take your tree instead to a half lotus, so you can draw your right toes towards the left thigh bone. And then start to draw open your hip here. Maybe you hang on to your right foot if it doesn't want to stay on its own. Palms to heart center. Maybe you grow your tree. And every day our balance is different. You can close your eyes for a moment if you want to try. Awesome. From here, we're going to transition to a standing figure 4 shape. So you're going to gently bend your left knee to protect. Take your right foot's going to stay flexed, and then cross your right ankle, let it clear the left thigh. And we're going to sit back as if we're sitting in chair. Bring your palms to touch in front of you. Maybe this is as far as you go. You're going to start to feel this in your right hip. Maybe you start to hinge back. You can take it down if you have the space, forearms to your right shin. You can take your hands down to the ground if you'd like. You can take a forearm stand if that's your wish and preference. And wherever you are, we'll start to lift the torso back up. And then with control, release that right foot down. Really feel that in the left leg. Inhale, arms are going to lift up. Exhale, fold over the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to high plank. Shift your weight slightly forward, elbows hug in. Exhale, lower either halfway or to your belly, cobra or up dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Connect to your breath. Come on to the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look between your hands, and then float yourself or walk or step to the top of the mat. Heel toe your feet back together. Big breath in takes you to chair pose. Arms lift, thumbs back, pinkies forward. Tailbone draws down, suck in through the belly. So we have our core engaged. See if you can lift your toes and lower them. Squeeze those glutes. And then take your hands into heart center. Look down at a point in front of you, something that's not moving. And then bring your weight into your left foot. Start to hover your right. And take a nice big step back with your right leg for a lunge. You're going to pivot your right heel down. Right toes are going to fan out. And then find yourself in warrior 2. Extend the arms. Can you see that left big toe? Inhale, reverse your warrior, left knee stays bent, side stretch. Exhale, warrior 2, and then extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm up, or flip your palm down, reach through the fingertips. Keep the collarbone smiling. What I mean by that is open up the chest, shoulders out of the ears. Inhale your way back to warrior two. We're going to transition back to high lunge. So right arm dips down, spiral onto the right ball of your foot, all 10 toes forward, high lunge. Hands to your hips. Step your right foot beside the left. Here we go, balance on the other side. So ground down through that right foot. Start to lift that left knee, bent at a right angle. Left hip is drawing down. Glide the shoulders down. So we're still finding that Tadasana shape here. Left palm presses into the left thigh. Left thigh presses into the left hand. I feel my core activate as soon as I do that. Strong and steady. And then here we're going to take our left hand just gently to the inside of the left thigh. Just guide that out to the left. Try not to let your left hip bone go back. Keep your hip points forward. And then let's move ourselves into tree pose. So point your left toe, assist the left leg, either left foot into the inner upper right thigh, above or below the knee, or left toes can touch the ground. Hands can come to prayer. You can roll your hands. Or if you want to take that half lotus version, take your left toes towards your right hip bone. Maybe one side feels totally different than the other. Little tricks for balance. Find something, your drishti, gaze to point, to fix your gaze on something to focus. And then root down through your standing supporting foot. At the same time, reach through the top of your head. And I notice that if I just focus on my breath, my balance is much more stable. Once I creep in a thought like, I'm doing it, that's when I'll start to lose it. From here, we're going to grab a hold of our left foot, flex the left foot, and then just place it across your right thigh. Bend the right knee for standing figure four. From here, hands come to prayer as if you're sitting back in chair pose. So hug that right shin bone back, tailbone forward, scoop your belly in. Flex the left foot. Still keep the shoulders out of the ears. Maybe you bring your forearms to your left shin. Maybe you bring your hands down to the ground. From here, we'll slowly, with control, start to lift back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, last flow of the class, high plank. Shift your weight slightly forward as you exhale. Elbows hug in, either halfway down or to your belly. Up dog or cobra, heart forward and up. Exhale, belly button draws you up and back to down dog. From here, we're going to come into pigeon. So right knee towards right wrist, right ankle towards left wrist. You're going to shimmy your left leg back. Great opportunity again to use a block if you want. You can put a block underneath your right sit bone. Maybe you use the other block to rest your forehead on. So your right ankle can be flexed here. First, let's find length. So if you're leaning too much on your right hip, you're going to probably need to just roll your left hip a little bit more towards the mat so your hips are even. Find length as you breathe in. And then exhale, bring your pigeon to sleep. Either coming to your forearms, you can stack your fists as well, or forehead on a block. One breath at a time. And then from here, let's slowly inhale our way up to our palms. If you have a block under your right sit bone, you can remove that. Sit onto your right hip, and you're going to swing your left leg forward. Now here, you are welcome to elevate yourself back on a block if you need the extra height, if you have tighter hamstrings. Otherwise, sit bones stay grounded. You're going to bend your left knee in. Find that tall spine. So use your hands to hug your shin bone back and find your lift. Flex your left foot, then take your hands to interlace them to support and cup your foot. Start to lift. Now maybe this is as far as you go. You can also use a strap here if you need. Heart reaches forward and up. Glide the shoulders down. Maybe you can find a little more length in the leg, as long as we're not compromising our spine. From here, you can take your left hand towards your left heel and then thumb down, take your right hand to the outside of the left foot. And then we'll start to let the left hand go and reach it behind you for a twist. At the same time, starting to get into that IT band. Open up through the chest, tall spine. From here, come back to center. We're going to come into a seated spinal twist. So you can place your left foot to the outside of the right thigh. If your sit bones aren't both grounded, you can extend your right leg in front of you. Or if you want to stick with the half lotus theme, you can start to bring your left toes towards your right hip bone. Just an option. And then everybody, regardless of where you are, left hand comes back behind you as support. If you're hugging your left knee in, you draw your right arm and hug it in. Twist over to the left. So we inhale, we get tall. We exhale, twist over to the left. If you're in the half lotus shape, you can cup your right hand to your left knee. And then maybe you find the full twist and bring your left hand to your right toes. Wherever you are, keep your torso stacked in line with your hips so we're not leaning back. With care and control, we slowly unwind back to center. Maybe you come in for a gentle counter twist. And let's come back to a brief down dog to prepare for the other side. You can pedal out the feet here. When you're ready, left knee towards the outside of the left wrist, left ankle towards right. Shimmy that right leg back. Use your props as you wish. Take your hands close to you first. Try to square off those hips towards the ground. So you're having an inner rotation of the back leg. Get nice and tall. Breathe in. Exhale. Melt yourself forward. One breath at a time, moment by moment. Once you find your resting spot, explore this space of stillness. Inhale your way up. Take the block underneath or out of you. Take your left sit bone down to the mat. Swing your right leg forward. You're welcome to prop your hips up if you'd like here. Same sequence on the other side. So here we're going to draw our right knee in. Take your hands and press onto your shin to find length through your spine first. Shoulders down. And then interlace and cup the bottom of your right foot. Start to draw the knee in here, and maybe this is as far as you go today. Maybe you extend that right leg. Maybe we focus on something in front of us, maybe slightly higher, so we can start to promote the lifting of the heart. Here we'll take our right hand towards our right heel, and then take the thumb down, left hand thumb down, grab the outside of your right foot. Once you grab a hold of that, you can start to open up the right arm towards the back and find this twist in length. Exhale your way back to center. Here we'll come into that seated spinal twist, so you can place your right foot to the outside of the left thigh. Both hips are grounded. If not, extend your left leg long. Right hand comes behind as you hug your right knee in. Or draw your right toes to half lotus towards your left hip. Let it rest on your left thigh. And then you can take your left hand to your right knee. Twist your right arm, reaches back behind, maybe grab a hold of your right foot. Twisting over to the right. So we inhale, we get tall. Exhale, we twist from the core. And then let your exhale slowly unwind you for a counter stretch on the other side. And then extend your legs out in front of you. If you have a block, take a block down with you close by. We're going to bend the knees, feet are hip width distance apart. Here we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. We're going to lift our sacrum up. If you don't have a block, you can use books, you can use a couple pillows, you can use a bolster, anything where you can find some elevation, and let your sacrum rest on the block. You can do the lowest setting, you can do the second setting, you can do the highest setting if you'd like. Keep some awareness in your legs so your knees aren't winking out to the side. Feet flat. Your hands could come down, palms up, or maybe palms down, your choice. And we're just letting our sacrum rest. It loves to feel supported here. So we just let gravity do the work. We can close our eyes here. If you'd like, you can start to draw the soles of the feet together and let your knees come out to the side this way. I know this feels really, really good for me. It might not feel good for you. So you can explore and try it and find what is right for you. And take about 3 more cycles of breath here. And then slowly prepare to remove your prop. So push into your feet, lift your hips up, slide the block away, and roll yourself down. From here, we're gonna come into knees towards our chest. You can just gently rock it out from side to side, massage the low back. And happy baby. So draw your arms towards the inside of the legs, knees towards the outside, flex your feet, and then try to bring your ankles in line with your knees, either grabbing your shins or your ankles or the outer edges of your feet. As you do that, try to keep your tailbone heavy and relax the shoulders. It's as if you're squatting against the ceiling. Closing your eyes. And then release. We'll come into one last asana shape before Savasana. So extend your arms out into a T, palms up. Take any variation of twist that you like. Today I'm going to do it so I'm going to cross my right leg over the left. I'll bring my hips out to the right and then knees over to the left. You don't have to cross the legs if you don't want to. And try to let your right shoulder relax a little more heavy towards the ground. If your legs are crossed, be extra mindful as you come out of the shape. Use your core to bring your legs back to center. Uncross, left leg over the right, hips over to the left, knees over to the right. Gaze over to the left, twist. Inhale with care, come back to center. Undo the legs and let's come into Savasana, our final resting shape. Maybe let go of your ponytail if you got one. Let your hair be free. Any wiggles and jiggles before we come into stillness in Savasana. Releasing any effort of your breath and allow for your whole body to rest on the ground. Imagining your muscles melting off of your bones and fully trusting in the support of the ground holding you beneath. Because there is nothing left for you to do but to receive the effects of your practice. So here we allow the energy within us to organize itself into balance and harmony and coherence. Noticing what it feels like to be at home in the center of your own being. And know that you always, always have access to this. And slowly begin to deepen your breath, letting your breath gently stretch you from the inside out. Invite in movement, wiggling fingers and toes, gently stirring your body into wakefulness. Bringing your arms up overhead, point your toes, reach to opposite ends of the room. And then draw your knees in towards your chest for a nice hug. And roll off to one side, any side you prefer. Use your bottom arm and extend it long to rest your ear on your bicep. And notice how this fetal shape feels to you. Tuning into the energy of gratitude for our bodies, for all that our bodies do for us. It's unconditional service, day in and day out. And gratitude for showing up on your mat today and doing the practice all the way through. And keep your eyes closed. Use your top hand to lift you up to a seated position. just like we started. And we'll meet with our palms touching in heart center. Maybe the thumbs touch the sternum with a slight bow of the chin. And take a moment here to come back to the intention you may have set for yourself and your practice. Enjoy these moments here with your breath and with yourself. Notice how you feel. And I invite you to take this feeling with you and spread it to all those around you, into your day, into your next day. And thank you so much for your trust and for sharing your energy with me today. From my heart to yours, namaste.